All right, guess what we're working on today again? All right, so I got the seats out of it. Took the dashboard back out. Starting to take these gauges apart. So we're gonna mount them here. Trying to make sure I can mount this flush on here, and then the rest of the gauges up here. So that's how he decided he wants to do them. We looked at them every which way you want, but where this is going is basically the best part that he could see the tack. And then he's got these other gauges that are going to be going in there, so little carbon fiber looking ones. So we'll get them all in there with the biggest hole saw I could find. It's just a little shy, but it'll give me a little bit of room to, a little wiggle room to clean it up and make sure it's centered in the right spot. Because you got like a rise here and a curve there, so it's kind of like rounded off. So it's not a nice flat surface. So I already got that marked off where it's going to go. I'm going to make the hole there, and then we'll clean it up. And if it's got to get moved over just a hair, either way, I'm going to try to get it as close as I could to this side. So, but it's hard to do it because you can't do that. And you only got this little lip. That's the only little lip it's going to be able to be held on with. So it's a one-shot deal. All right, here we go. All right, that sits really nice actually. Got lucky with that one. So that fits there. Like I said, I couldn't move it over more because this gets smaller. So this gets smaller like that. So that's the best I could do as far as getting as far over as I could. And I had to put a little thing. We got to put a little tiny hole here somewhere because the wire has to come up and plug into that thing. All right, so that's done. And then I got to figure out a way to hold it in there. I guess I'm going to just use that clamp that it came with or something. Bolt that on from the back. And then I'm going to make the holes for the smaller gauges. The smaller gauges are made to be mounted flush anyway. They got these little clamps and stuff that go on the back of them. Those are pretty good. So just got to make sure I got the right hole size for those. And then we'll lay a couple of these out and see what they look like. He's got 3, I think. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, like so. 1, 2, 3, like that. And you almost got enough room to go 1, 2, 3, 4, but just gonna go 1, 2, 3, and yeah. If you want to go more, you just keep going across. I mean, you got all this room here anyway, but so we'll see. I'm gonna put that one in there. I got to get the hole saw for those. Okay, dokie. Nice, perfect hole. Drop right in. Nice, just snug. Like that. Good. So I'm gonna mount that one first. That one gets centered like that, and then we'll put these all in there. All right. And then we'll have a couple little other holes. I got an indicator light for the trans brake, an indicator light for the line lock, trans brake, And I believe that's it for that. So those I can make, those are small. Get them in there, and that's done. And then we'll flip it over, wire everything, mount them, wire everything, and then put it back in the car. Once it's in the car, it don't even have to come back out anymore. So, but I'll leave enough slack in the wire so that it can be pulled out and worked on. Alright, so all these gauges are all mechanical gauges, so they either have a cable, a hose, or something going to where they're supposed to go. This one's the temperature gauge. So we gotta unravel this whole thing. Get this all ready to go. And then we'll be able to run these into the car. This is gonna get hooked up in the engine compartment. They all do. Thing. Get hooked into that. Wire all the lights to them, they're illuminated. Fix it. Goes on that one, don't want to go on that one. Alright, that little burn we gotta take care of on that one. Here. finish this thing up. Alright, so this is what I got going here. I got the oil line on, that's that, all those are on. I got the lights set up in there. I even got the shift light in here. Let me show you what it looks like from the front. So basically from the front, it looks like that. Alright. I think this phone's getting kind of cloudy here. That's how that looks. Can't help but putting that wire through there like that, but that's about it. Everything else looks good. You got so the red light is going to be your line lock. The green one's going to be your trans brake. That's your shift light, obviously, and all that controls that. All right. Now we're going to wire it all up. Wire it all up. I'm going to make a harness like this. This will come out. This has a plug. That has a plug. So what I did with that is I mounted it there so it can't move. And you can always reach in here. I think this is for darker or lighter. Okay, so you can still reach under there and do that. So next thing to do is make a harness to come out from there down to here, about the same length as that, so that could be plugged in. I'll put a plug on the end of that. So that'll be cool. All right, that's that for now. Let me finish doing that. All right, so we got all the wiring pretty much done now. Got the white wire for the lights, black wire for all the grounds, including the voltmeter. This one is going to be for the line lock. This one's going to be for the trans brake. Lights. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to put a 6th plug on it so we can unhook it right from here. This already has its own plug that it unhooks from here. And then the light for the that stays with that anyway, so that doesn't have to even come off. So this you can unplug, and this you're going to be able to unplug. And then we'll make the rest of the harness go to the stuff in the car. Alright, I'm going to button this all up. Start with this one over here. These are all the male ones. These are going to all go into here. Lock in. Lock in. Black lock in. Orange lock in. Red lock in. And then these will all get tied up nice and neat. And whatever else. I don't think there's anything else going up here, but if there is, it'll be hooked to this. So the other stuff is on the steering wheel. That's going to have its own plug, so we can unplug the steering wheel, take the wheel off with the buttons, and that's it for that. Alright, so I hooked the battery up to this. We ran all the wires. I ran the polarity the right way, made sure they're all set. So they're all good, everything works. All the lights work, everything works. And then these will get wired into it also later on when I get in the car. So basically now I can set this in place and it can kind of stay in there. Alright, so finally got this thing buttoned up here. Got the nice 2 good connectors. That's the oil line, that's the water temperature. So now the rest of this harness, this is all one piece. Made it way long here, so now I can run it in the car. I'm gonna mount the dash up in there. Get rid of all this stuff. Start putting this thing back in there, and then we'll wire the rest of this part of the harness to the rest of the car. And then we can wire the what else we got? We're gonna wire the buttons on the steering wheel, and wire, after all that's done, I'm gonna wire these doors so I can make the windows go up and down. So really next thing is, let's see, get that light to work. I'm gonna switch for all the lights is up top, so we'll just get the light to work, and then I can clean up this mess here and start working my way into the shifter and all that kind of stuff. All right, let me show you what this dash looks like once I put it in there. All right, so that plug is right there by the steering column. So we're mounting that right here like this. That'll plug into that. And I can run all my wires, plug everything in. If anything has to come off, you just unplug it right there. And the other thing is I'm going to do the steering wheel today. I got the column. That's tight now where it comes to the steering wheel. I got to just tighten the bottom hole. And then once I put the dash in, I can put the 2 bolts in it right there, button that up, and that can stay. And then I can run this oil line and temperature line. So right now I'm going to start connecting all the wires that go from that. So I got one that goes to the dash lights, all that kind of crap, tack and all that stuff. All right, so that's all going to get hooked up now. This way that's done. I want to get as much done as I could back there before I put the dash in place, so I don't have to keep scratching and cutting my head open trying to get under there if I don't have to. All right, and then I'll button all them wires up. And then I'm gonna wire the steering wheel and then run the wires to the shifter. I already made that up. I got that thing made up right there with a pedestal. Once I put the dash in, I'm gonna put the shifter at the right angle, make the holes for that, put little studs on it so you could just bang this shifter right on, screw it down tight. If you ever have to take it off, you just unbolt it from that platform and you're done. All right, so starting to lay this thing in place. That's what the gauges look like. That's not in there yet. I'm just laying that in there. I had to move it out of my way. Right now I'm working on the steering wheel, so I got all these bolts all locked in. The little clamp for these 2 switches, these buttons, gets sandwiched in between that and the hub, right? And now I'm putting connectors on everything. This way everything's got a quick connect on it, and then we'll figure out what he's going to use for what. All right, so I got these all wired up. Got male on one side, female on the other side, so you can't mix them up when you plug them back in. And that's it. For now, we gotta do, let's see. Now I need to put the dash in place. And I might have to make another bracket for the front so it doesn't flap around. And then I'm gonna put the window switch is probably gonna go in there. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do with that. All right, so let me get that back out. Mount these window switches. This way the window switches are mounted and wired. And I can run the wires to the doors. This way when I put the dash in, nothing has to come back out. All right, so that's gonna sit like that. I covered the hole. That's gonna go up here. We're gonna make a bracket that holds this from flopping around. All right, and then we'll put the window switches in here. That's what it's gonna look like when it's done. Just like that. That's the view from his head right about there. All right, coming out nice. Get it running after I get back from the dyno. I hope.